All right, morning everyone. Um, in a bit of a rush today. I got a bunch of work to do, and my dog has an appointment I have to go to, so I'm doing my morning workout while drinking my coffee. Probably just gonna do an abbreviated workout this morning where I only do my side pressure ISOs and call it from there. So yeah, let's get right into it. Yeah, despite yesterday feeling pretty sharp during the side pressure training, especially through the brachialis, which is pretty rare for me. I usually don't get pain there. It's more like in the inner elbow. I feel really good today. I don't feel any of that, and that's great. Before I started doing these morning and night isometrics, I'd be sore from the side pressure training for pretty much the whole week, and then I'd be lucky if by the time I got to table training on Saturday, if I was feeling 100%. So yeah, definitely have helped a lot in making sure I can get all my workouts in and train daily. There for a long time, I was just so sore all the time. I just felt like I could only train arm wrestling specific stuff, um, 2 or 3 times a week because I was just in so much pain. But yeah, I just whatever some people have to be able to recover from arm wrestling, I guess I don't. So I have to compensate a lot with all this training. Also, I'm a little bit older than some of the guys in my club. My club's actually pretty young overall. I'm gonna be turning 37 here soon. So I don't know if that has more to do with it, but it just seems like some people can train a lot and can arm wrestle a lot, and for whatever reason, I don't seem to be able to do that. So, but I am going for I'll be at 4 years in the sports in September. So I'm just hoping with a little bit more time, maybe another year or two, you know, I'll be able to train even harder, um, and more often. One thing I really want to do this year is try to do more than one table session per week, as consistently as possible. It's pretty hard with work, but can try to make it happen. Doing a little bit longer holds than usual this morning. So I think I'm only going to do 2 rounds. Like I said, everything feels pretty good. It's just time is of the essence today. Oh. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna do at least one more of those, maybe 3 more, and then yeah, I'll be back with our morning meal or breakfast. Okay, guys, this morning we're gonna be taking on the world with a protein shake and a monster. That is the zero sugar one. Not ideal, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. I'm sure a lot of you know. I'm gonna try to make up for the lack of carbs in with lunch, eat an extra big lunch, and then hopefully it doesn't affect us because today is the longest workout. It has the most total volume, so we're definitely going to need them. But yeah, I'll see you guys for the pre-workout preparation. Hey guys, so just a little update from this morning. Like I said, just had the protein shake and the monster. Just had a regular one today. Not really a lot of energy today. Not feeling the greatest or the best. So today is a day that is perfect to bust out the pre-workout. And I do think it is a double scoop kind of day for sure. Just feel sleepy, which is not super common for me. I'm not a morning person, but once I do kind of get going, you guys probably saw that the morning videos are probably pretty rough and a lot different version of me than you're used to seeing. But once I do get going, I'm usually great and, good to go from there. But yeah, today is just one of those days where I just feel tired and a little out of it. So I'm going to drink my pre-workout. And once I kind of start feeling the tingles and feeling ready, then gonna get my workout in. And so yeah, I'll see you guys there. All right, so we are into our Wednesday workout here. This is the riser, pronation, and hand day. Get to start with the rise, moving to pronation. I usually start with rise because I feel like when I started with pronation, it affected my rise training. But when I start with rise, it doesn't seem to have an effect on my pronation, or at least a minimal effect. It actually kind of helps warm up the pronation in a way. So that's how I've kind of learned and like to do it. And then, yeah, once we get done with that, we're going to go into a wrist curl exercise and a reverse wrist curl. So there's actually 4 exercises today. So yeah, one of the more volume heavy workouts, you could say, but it still doesn't take that long. It takes about an hour to do. So pretty easy. If I don't recover too much, or if I don't rest too long, then take even shorter, like 45, 50 minutes. Anyway, this is one of my favorite days. A lot of this type of stuff I neglected early on in arm wrestling, so I didn't progress in certain ways where I should have, because I just didn't realize the importance, or thought I was just getting enough through table time. So really come to enjoy this day. Part of the reason why I'm going to do it the way I do it is just because it's fast and easy to set up. There are training blocks, like the next blocks, I'll be doing the rise and pronation from the table. But this time, for this block, I'm going to be doing it from the floor. But the starting position I get into, I think, is pretty similar to the table starting position. And yeah, it feels good, and it seems like it's working, or has worked in the past. So I'm going to go back to this floor variation. But yeah, let's just get right into it. Let me just grab this. We'll just start warming up here. 25 pounds. Again, like I said, I'm going to start with the riser lift. I can't see the camera right now, so hopefully it looks okay. If it doesn't look good, I'll adjust the angle for the working sets. But basically, just getting down here, getting locked, and lifting. I'll do it like this a couple times. And then I also like to kind of curl it a couple times too, just as a way to get everything warmed up. Just alternate. Same thing here, over on the other side. Okay. So the right wrist still feeling a little bit, you know, out of it, a little tender, a little sore. I've been dealing with pain. It's not an injury, as far as I can tell with my doctors and my PT. It doesn't seem to be damaged. We think it might be an impinged nerve, because it seems to affect just kind of like some of the positions I can put my hand in. Like it's hard for me to fully lock my rise, but the pain seems to more flare up if I cup and pronate at the same time. That's what causes the most pain. So we just do think that there's just some kind of impingement in there. So if you see a difference in the way I'm doing things on the right arm, a lot of it's because I'm kind of babying this and trying to work around the pain a little bit. And so sometimes I'm like, when I'm doing riser stuff, it seems to feel better if I do have a little bit of a cup, or if I have a little bit of extra pronation. Just seems to kind of relieve that area a little bit. So if the form does look a little bit less strict on the right, that's why. I do have an MRI pending right now. I go through the VA, so I'm just waiting for them to get the authorization over to the MRI clinic, and then it should be hopefully in the next week or two, and then we'll have an exact idea of what's actually going on with this. But it doesn't affect me strength-wise or anything, so nothing really too big to worry about there. But yeah, so let's throw a 10 on here and keep warming up. Get a little bit of a deeper grip on here so I can get a better angle. Yeah. So again, all pretty simple stuff. Nothing new or extraordinary that I'm sure you haven't seen before. Also, some like I do this kind of circuit you guys will see on Saturday and Sunday with a similar type of movement where, full curl, but I do it from a standing position. Just so this one's a little bit more arm wrestling specific to kind of like work those locks, work those ranges of motion that I ideally want to be in. And then the weekend, I kind of work the full range of motion just to make sure I don't have any weaknesses, and then just to make sure the tendons and fibers, muscle fibers are strong at those more open positions. So that way, if I do get there, hopefully it won't get injured or cause a problem because just because my body's not used to working there. So that's why I like to train both the closed range and the full range of motion. Yeah, what do we have on here? 35. All right, let's go up to 40. Get a couple of guys started. Okay, and then let's do our first working stud at 45. Yeah, I know I might drive some people crazy that I'm mixing and mashing plates here, but I just kind of, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I just kind of keep things piled up here so that way I can easily just grab and throw on whatever I need. Actually, let me check. Yeah, okay. So you guys can see it. Yep, I just keep my pile of plates there, for especially when I'm doing what you'll see tomorrow, the really heavy hand stuff. I need all of the plates. Hand is getting pretty strong. I'm pretty happy with that. Definitely need to work a lot on rise. Rise is my weakest arm wrestling strength by far. Pronation is getting pretty good. It should be better for where I'm at. Um, you know, a lot of people say I have good containment, good back pressure. So that's probably where my strengths mostly lie. But I'd say that my gym numbers are probably low for what you might be used to seeing. But my table performances, I think, are pretty good for where I'm at in my career. I don't really seem to be super overwhelmed in any area. If there's anything that I seem to get taken on, it's usually just if someone can really out back pressure me and pull me out of my shoulder at the start, or if their pronation can just turn my thumb over. But for the most part, when I do lose, I seem to lose in my position. So I'm just getting kind of outclassed. Like they're just generally a tier higher than me. But we're working on that and getting much stronger and have big goals for this year. I think I'm going to get some wins on people I've been chasing for a while. So yeah, the Miles City Arm Brawl is going to be the next tournament I'm at. Highly recommend coming there. We usually have a lot of big names. AJ Henson, Corey Miller, Miles should be there. Nathan should be there. Hopefully we get Clifton down. That'd be awesome. Luke Pulcher, he came last year. It'd be cool to get him again. And then we're gonna have some super matches there. I think his name's Adrian. He's going to be pulling Joe, I think, on the right, and then Miles on the left. He's currently ranked number 9 in the U.S. right now at 220, which is where Miles should be after he beat Jordan Sill on the left. But it is what it is. So Miles just has to come in and show us that he can beat Adrian too, and then he should have that spot. But anyway, let's get into this first working set, see how it feels. For this, again, I'm probably going to be doing triples because it's my 80% week. Yeah, let's just see how this weight feels first. Hopefully, we can do 50. Ooh. Okay, so 45. My left isn't wanting to fully cooperate. Let's see how my right does. Okay, so a little bit better on the right. Yeah, it's a little bit lighter than I was expecting, but that's kind of been the story of this week. Hopefully we can go to our normal weights next week so that way you guys can see. But I was kind of expecting to be closer to 50 pounds today for this exercise. It's where I wanted to be, but we'll stay at 45. And then next week when we're all recovered up, we should definitely be at that 50 pound, maybe 51. We'll see. This is an exercise that, you know, especially if it's not your best movement, don't be afraid to, use the little 1-pounder plates to add a little bit more. But yeah, I'm gonna keep grinding away at this, and then I'll bring you guys back for the last set. All right, on to our last set of riser before we transition into pronation. So you guys saw the first set of 45. The next 2 sets kind of went the same way. My left a little bit, it was getting out a little bit, not fully, it wasn't fully dropping, but just coming down a little bit. You guys are probably seeing this one. So definitely not super ideal. This is normally a pretty comfortable weight for me. So yeah, let's see where this last set goes. Yeah, not super pretty, but we're getting some work in there, and I guess that's all that matters for this week. Now let's get the right. Right's held up actually pretty good. The first set was the hardest so far. The rest of the sets have been pretty easy. Okay, so riser is done. Pronation, we'll transition to same kind of seating position here. Again, a lot of my training, I try to make it as easy on myself as possible, so I don't have any excuses to not train. There we go. So we'll start the warm up at 50. It's kind of similar. We doing it over the thumb. This time I usually alternate between over the back of the hand and over the thumb. Last time I did it over the back of the hand. So I'll do it over the thumb today. Still pretty easy. Kind of like I said, do the same thing where I'll work through some static lifts just to get it warmed up. And then once we get to the working sets, we'll do a little make some changes to make it a little bit more challenging. Okay. Next warm up will be 75. I think the goal today will be to do 100 pounds after the working sets. So, yeah. Okay. Go up to 85. We'll do a single at 85 and 95, and then start our working weights at 100. I'm going to start taking a little bit longer breaks, and then I'll bring you guys back for that first working set. Okay, guys, spaced out a little bit, and I've been hitting my working sets. We did make it to 100 pounds. And again, right arm's performing pretty good. Left arm's struggling a little bit. But oddly enough, even though I'm left-hand dominant, I think I might have said this in yesterday or the day before, but my right arm tends to be better with pronation and rise anyway. So nothing out of the ordinary for me. Yeah, let's get this set done and then start making our way towards the cupping exercise or wrist curl. One thing I do for my working sets is I put my ab mat on the bench. It raises me up a little bit higher, so I get a little bit of a better starting angle. Because obviously you can control the depth with the rise, but with pronation, with the looping where it is, this just gives me a better angle. Otherwise, I start really down low, and it makes it just a little bit easier. So, yeah, let's get this done. Whew. Yeah. Like I said, not moving super easy today. Um, shoot. Even like every set, I give myself like a little bit of a oblique cramp because I'm just on the left side. I just have to put so much into getting that working. But yeah, let's get this one. Moving pretty good on the right though. Yeah, so as you can see, right, much better, much more controlled. Still pretty difficult, more difficult than I wanted to be this week, but I'm a little bit stubborn. Probably should have lowered the weight. I don't know. I just have a lot of big goals, like I said, and I know by next week I'll be fully recovered and feeling my best. So I'm not going to let this hold me back and get me down. But yeah, let's get into the table training now with the cupping. Okay, here we are at the wrist curl exercise. Essentially, what I'm doing here is I'm using the cone, a fat cone, so my hand can't get all the way around it. And I have the cone at the bottom, so it challenges my pinky and my, whatever that finger's called again. Anyway, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I'm anti-top roll. So that's what working, and that's pretty much what I always focus on. Just the style of my playing, it's what it dictates. I really like this handle. It's served me well. And I think it has made my hand very strong. So if you've not tried a cone, I definitely recommend it. But yeah, let's just start with warming up. See how everything feels. Okay, and one thing I do want to say is when I train my wrist and cupping, I never train it from like a fully static position. I like, as you've seen, I don't like to have slack on there. I like to have to hold the weight down and control it. Because it's more similar to an arm wrestling match, where someone's trying to blast back into your hand. You're never going to be cupping like from here, where there's like no tension on your fingers or your hand. It's always going to be that pressure coming back. So I like to do all my cupping with it pulling into my hand as well and working as much elbow movement as I can into it. Got the warm up out of the way. So we will move up to our working weight, which is going to be, I think we're going to start with 90 pounds and we're going to see how that feels. And then we'll go up from there if we need to. Okay. So, let's see how this first working set feels. Feels pretty good. A little bit of a heavier step up from 80 than usual. Next week, we'll probably be able to do 100, 105, but I think we'll leave it at 90 for this week. Feels good. Um, and like I said, I really recommend if you don't normally train your cup with having to control and resist that back pressure, I really recommend it because it's going to help you with getting comfortable when people are loading into your hand in a real match. So definitely something to add to your routine if that's not the way you're already training, because if you only ever train from a completely perfect starting position where there's no tension already on it, then it's not going to be very accurate or close to what you feel on the table. Someone's always going to be, loading. And even if they don't load in the setup, as soon as the go happens, they're going to be loading. And you want your hand to know what to do instinctively when that load hits you. So really, really highly recommend pulling down and controlling that weight at the start. It's going to help a lot. It really helped my cupping tremendously on the table. Okay. Uh, reverse wrist curls. Last exercise of the day. Basically, trying this variation that I'm seeing Todd Hutchings doing and seeing how it goes. So I'm just using a barbell, which is kind of nice because it speeds it up because you're not just doing one hand at a time. But yeah, I'm just holding it out. And just reverse wrist curling. Nothing super fancy. This is kind of a variation I got from watching Todd Hutchings videos. I'm sure you guys saw it. So I'm going to see how it goes, see if it applies well to me. I think one of the reasons why my riser is kind of weaker than others is because I never really trained the extensors, the flexors, of course, but I never really trained my extensors very much. So I think that's where a lot of the weakness in my rise came from. I did a video a while back, two things I wish I knew as a beginner. And one of those things is definitely the extensors because it seems like as those get stronger, my rise is really picking up. But man, I have a major weakness in this area. As that continues to get better, I'm sure my rise will as well. So yeah, let's add some weight. See how this feels today. That's a good weight. Still only my limits on this one. I just kind of poked around with it. So 65 pounds is where we're gonna be. I did 6 reps just there, but I think I'm gonna do sets of 5 on this one for now until I get a little bit stronger and a little bit more accustomed to it. So yeah, this is probably where we will end for the day. I'm gonna do 3 more sets of this. Um, just because of all the issues I was having with my phone. This ended up taking a while longer and it's going to kind of mess up my timing for tonight. So I probably won't do my nighttime routine. And if I do, I'm just not going to record it. We'll go back to the normal stuff tomorrow. Like I said, still kind of learning all this recording stuff. It's one thing to, sit in front of your computer and record an interview with people online, but all this camera stuff and moving around and all that, it's got to get it all figured out. But anyways, hope you guys have a good day and we'll see you tomorrow.